Hello and welcome to all of you. My name is Bara Mikhail. I am an associate professor of political science and international relations in the Madrid campus in Spain of an American university, St. Louis University, which is itself based in St. Louis in Missouri, back in the United States. And basically, I would say, like many colleagues, I am sure, I'm trying to make sense of what artificial intelligence is doing to our classrooms. This is why this podcast is definitely not about tools or about tricks. It is just about teaching, about learning, about what AI is forcing us to confront. Let us start there. So first of all, why this podcast? Well, there could be many reasons, of course, why to have such a podcast that is dedicated not only to AI and teaching, but I would say even to the challenges that technology and evolutions at many levels, technological on the one hand, and also I would say sociological on the other hand, with the young generations that we are facing, how all of this is getting us to facing new challenges. So bringing it now specifically to AI and the way it is having an impact on us, an impact on the educational sector or the educational environment, what I would say is that first of all, we know that AI is already used by students. This is a fact, this is a reality, we have to face it. Students use it, which does not mean that they always know how to use it, of course. And this is something that we will be discussing episode after episode through some of the examples and even through some of the tips, I would say, that we could have in mind. Then another point to take into consideration that also brought the idea of this podcast is that institutions, and for instance, educational institutions, sound a bit hesitant still and a bit lost or at least vague when it comes to facing or even to considering the use of AI or the inclusion of AI within their methods and within their approach. And this is where I think that there is a lot that can still be done and that has to be done if we want to be up to the challenge. And then third point, we live in a world that goes in a very accelerated way. We get a bit polarized on the one hand, maybe a bit lost on the other hand, but the fact is that what we need, I think, is a space that would allow us to think not only calmly, but also honestly. Then what is the real problem that we are facing today? Well, as teachers, what we can see is that something that has taken over in our attitude, in our approach to the students that we are facing is the notion of cheating. Cheating is not new. I think that many of us went through this habit that we saw where students could be Googling something and then copy pasting it and then claiming that it is theirs. And well, AI has made it more difficult for us teachers to just go and figure out where is the source that has been of such a strong inspiration for the students. So that's one of the problems. Then I would add there another problem, which is that when we look at assignments, I'm not sure they hold anymore, at least not in the formula that we had before. There could be many ways of looking at this, there could be many conceptions that we could develop there, but the fact is that I think that even assignments have to be reviewed, have to be renewed. You have a book that is just behind me that talks about how AI will revolutionize education. I think this is definitely at the heart of what we should be considering there. The fact that the generations that we are facing learn more by experience than by reading books. We can definitely consider that it shouldn't be that way. We can be disappointed at it, but that's reality. So how can we adapt so that our duty and our mission as people, educating people, teaching, can still have something that will benefit these generations that we feel responsible towards and actually that we are responsible towards. Then third point or third problem linked to what I just said now is the fact that the trust between faculty and students is, for the least, under pressure. And here we have also a key point that we have to look at, because if there is mistrust, that means that the relationship does not flow between the two components or the two actors that are there, meaning the teacher and the student. And so from here, what is it that I want to explore through this podcast? Here too, I will limit myself to 3 key points from my point of view. One is that I think that we can think or figure out of how teaching should look like now. I'm not sure there is a formula that would be working or that we would have to implement and impose on everybody. Not at all. I think that there are many ways of teaching, and myself, I've been observing and I keep observing colleagues and asking them about what they do. The way I ask students about how they do it and what are their expectations, and I think that all of this should be a provider for inspiration when it comes to the way we want to be once again carrying and even fulfilling our mission in the best conditions ever, in the most honest way ever. Then the second point that I want to explore, putting technology in general, and I would say AI in particular, because this is what is definitely very present there at the center of the table, or at the center of the room, is exploring what is it that AI breaks on the one hand, and that what is it that AI reveals on the other hand. Because we have to break patterns. 40 years ago, we had calculators, and we were scared that these would take out some of the thinking the students were meant to make themselves. We're not worried about this anymore. Then 20 years ago, more or less, we've had also internet coming. And through internet, we also feared that there could be something that could be a game changer that would definitely get us to heading towards the wall. Well, the fact is that, on the contrary, internet is present everywhere. So every technology and every change is scary up to when we accept it and up to when we learn how to use it and we adapt to it. And this is where I think that bringing AI and teaching together and having to make something of it that could be constructive for everybody. And here I'm talking about a bunch of stakeholders that start of us with teachers, that goes also towards students, but also that includes people from other fields that could be interested into knowing how AI is having an impact on their own sector, a professional field, is definitely something that I would like to look at, being inspired to, of course, by all the ideas and all the inputs that you would be providers of, because this is a space that is definitely open to all of you, to all what you want to comment about and all what you want to bring in. And finally, when it comes to what I have in mind, what I want to explore here, well, the point is that I would like to explore how to adapt without lowering standards. And this is where we are facing, I would say, this issue that we see in some institutions that either fear to adapt or even don't want to adapt. And I think this is wrong, definitely. Why? Because, as usual, when there is a drastic change or a drastic revolution, as the AI is providing to us, it is either we adapt to it, to accept it, and we move forward with it, or on the contrary, we just keep stuck there up to when we are not anymore part of the dynamics that are ongoing and that will be moving forward without us. So welcome to all of you, and thanks for watching this video of introduction of Alive in Teaching, and see you in the next episode.